This is IronTV. When you hear the words Special Forces or Special Ops Soldier, what description comes to mind? Army Sergeant Sarah Goss introduces us to a Fort Bliss soldier who breaks the mold of what you might typically expect from a Special Forces candidate.
This is Sergeant Brandon Schlotterbach. Not too long ago, he volunteered to attend the Army Special Forces Assessment and Selection course. But he's not your average Special Forces candidate. First, there's his determination to not let his medical history stop him from getting where he wants to go.
Growing up in Columbia City, I was a 5-sport athlete, played all sports I could. And then before going into high school, I was diagnosed with cancer and fought that for a year. I tried to join the Army right out of high school, but due to still not being in remission, they wouldn't allow me to join. It took them 7 years for the Army to allow me to get in due to waivers and time restrictions on the cancer that I had.
Something else that distinguishes Sergeant Schlotterbach from most of his fellow Special Forces candidates is his current military occupational specialty, or MOS.
I'm a 42 Alpha, Human Resources. It's a very important job in the Army, but I want to do bigger and better things. I want to be someone that they call to save people.
To that end, he contacted the Special Operations Recruiting Battalion on Fort Bliss and got permission from his leadership to begin attending physical training, or PT, with the Special Forces Career Center.
The PT that we provide here is a little bit different than what they're doing at the unit and a little bit different than what the soldier's doing on their own. It's all about longevity and core. If the soldier has never done a 12-mile other than basic training, when that soldier attends selection and he does a 26-mile at the end, his body's in shock. So the whole point is to get his body acclimated to what we're going to put him through at selection.
Sprint through your gear, you got 30 seconds.
They definitely test your limits and show you that you're not as good as you thought you were. Every day you come, it gets harder, and it continues to test your body and how far you can push yourself.
And as Sergeant Schlotterbach prepares himself physically and mentally for the unique challenges he'll face at selection, he has the full support of his company First Sergeant.
I think that he shows the company that it doesn't matter what MOS you are, you can go on to other things and contribute. With guys like Sergeant Schlotterbach, you don't like to see them leave your organization. So it's a little bittersweet, but at the same time, you know that it helps the Army in doing what the Army needs to do.
First Sergeant Griffin also said Sergeant Schlotterbach's determination sets an example for other soldiers in his unit to follow. From Fort Bliss, I'm Army Sergeant Sarah Goss.
Fort Bliss soldiers interested in finding more information on career opportunities with Special Operations Forces can contact the Special Forces Career Center at 915-744-6433. You can also visit their Facebook page, Fort Bliss Special Operations Recruiting Battalion. A historical event happened in January 2013 when former Secretary of Defense, the Honorable Leon Panetta, announced that women would be allowed in combat. Army Sergeant Marlon Stiles visited 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division, to talk with 2 of the first wave of female soldiers to have combat jobs.
Saying it's part of a plan to eliminate all unnecessary gender-based barriers.
Secretary Leon Panetta is lifting the military's official ban on women in
extend
combat.
opportunities to women in a way that maintains readiness, morale,
we are
and
eliminating
unit cohesion.
the direct ground combat exclusion rule for women.
And so they told me when I was first picking this job that it had just opened up the females just a couple months before I picked it. And I thought that that would be something, not the fact that it's working on Abrams or even that it's working on tanks, just the fact that I could be one of the first females doing it was what really interested me.
It was different because this is the first time we actually seen him working on tanks, but it actually worked out quite well. They made a very smooth transition into the team, and at the end of the day, they're just soldiers. They're here, they're motivated, they want to work, and we treat them that way, just as soldiers.
Honestly, when you're first introduced in AIT, all the guys that are there with you don't know that you're one of the first people. The guys at my AIT, I got really close with. There was no negativity between any of us. Coming to a unit, however, that had not been introduced to females before, that was a little scary.
Being in actual combat arms probably come up the whole time, my whole career, and actually hearing that we were going to have the first female tank maintainers to come to us, I was pretty excited about it, and I was just like, this ought to be interesting to see how the team accepts them in. but ever since they've been here, so they've really done a great job.
And I really wanted something hands-on. I didn't want to be behind a desk doing nothing. I really wanted to do something productive. And I saw this job, and it sounded familiar to me because I was playing Battlefield. And I was like, oh, an Abrams. I use that tank.
Just treat them just like you would any other soldier. If you start treating them different, then they're going to act different, and then you're not going to get anything accomplished.
I was told that it is going to be a male-dominant field, and I was like, you know what, I'm actually excited to work for it then. Be one of the first people, well, one of the first females. That was really exciting. And even if they did treat me as a female, I'd let them know, you know. But, you know, I don't think it really matters to them. You know, they treat everybody the same, and they're all pretty cool. I like my team. They're all pretty fair with each other and fair with us, me and Johnson.
All the military services are implementing plans to fully integrate females into combat roles by 2016. Service members and civilians from the group El Paso Jeepers recently conducted a trail ride through Wando Pass.
I've been with the Jeepers for about 3 weeks now. I've actually only owned my Jeep for about 9 months, so this is the first time I've had a chance to really take it out and test its full capabilities in some terrain. It is a bit of an escape from the norm. You know, you get to get off the beaten path, you get to kind of drive paths that aren't seen by most people, and you can do it at your own pace. So you get a chance to relax and kind of, you know, you can take pauses wherever you want to and just take in the scenery, and especially some of the routes around, you know, the northeast or northwest side. You know, a lot of terrain to be seen. Understand there are limitations, you know, if you have a stock Jeep especially, but go out and see what it can do, you know, have some fun with it, and wherever it falls short, you know, if it's suspension travel or tire size, then go from there. Don't spend all kinds of money before you realize what it can do, because a lot of stock Jeeps can actually get you to most places you might want to go. In my opinion, if it wasn't for the group that I found, the Paso Jeepers, I wouldn't have got to know some of the civilian guys, and it was actually them that invited me out to go off-roading with them. I mean, we have a lot of military and civilian, you know, in the group, but it was definitely them that kind of invited me out and brought me into them and showed me some of the areas to go off-roading in. I would say I spent a fair amount of time of my off-duty time off-roading. I find it to be not only a challenging, you know, experience to test the limits of my Jeep and my own driving capabilities, but also a test of the Jeep itself. So, you know, I get a chance to work on the Jeep, fix it up, build it up, and then if something breaks or doesn't work right, you know, I have a chance to go back and fix it again later.
I've been in El Paso a little over a year. I've been hanging out with these guys probably off and on 6 months-ish, yeah. So I mean, it's been an excellent crowd. I haven't met anyone that, you know, we didn't share similar interests or get along with, or just have a lot of fun together. So it's been a really good experience. I think being in the military, the connection is just meeting so many different people and so many different types of people, and being able to share their experiences and share, you know, their knowledge of different trails, different, you know, places to go. And, you know, yeah, doing the off-roading in the military definitely influences, you know, because you get in those trucks, man, and you just want to do what we do here on the weekends and stuff, and, you know, sometimes you can't, but it definitely, you share that passion with other soldiers, and we do it a lot. It's a culture. It's something that you kind of are born into. You know, you like similar or share similar interests with the people that do it. It's a collection of mostly patriotic, you know, red-blooded Americans, man, that just love to get out and get dirty and hang out. So, you know, I can't think of another occupation or hobby, you know, that has the following that this one does, and just a collection of great people. So, and that's all there is to it, man. It's just a bunch of awesome people doing awesome stuff.
The El Paso Jeepers is a local group of Jeepers made up of civilians and soldiers here in El Paso, Texas. Soldiers from the Highlander Brigade conducted training and prepared for future deployment endeavors at the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, California. Here is Sergeant Mike Grimm to tell us more.
Recently, the soldiers of the Highlander Brigade traveled to Fort Irwin, California to train in tactical desert combat in the National Training Center. Soldiers trained in many areas including force-on-force combat, working with the local population, TOC operations, and live fire exercises.
NTC brings the idea of real combat without the danger. Gives soldiers the ability to experience as close as they can get to the real thing without their lives being in danger, and it provides the best training they can get. It's almost like a glorified laser tag. You get miles gear, just a simple vest, and one goes around your Kevlar. Also, there's a laser sight attached to the end of your weapon. So it really is, it's like laser tag for grown-ups.
The Highlanders spent 2 weeks in the field training and 2 weeks in the rotational unit bivouac area for preparations and equipment turn-in procedures.
I definitely believe NTC is beneficial, especially prior to deploying. It gives you an opportunity to practice your individual and squad and section and all those skills fine-tuned back at home station. It gives you an opportunity to practice them as a collective group, and that is how you would actually fight in combat.
Oh, it was definitely difficult. It's hot. It was definitely hot out here. You had to stay hydrated, you had to stay focused. You're sleeping outside, it gets just as cold as it does hot. I mean, it was freezing at night and it was hot during the day. The sand, the terrain was unfair, the terrain was rugged, vehicles and repairs. It was tough, but it was definitely good training.
From Fort Bliss, I'm Army Sergeant Mike Grimm.
This is IronTV.